Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I've had a viewer question today, so I'm pretty excited about that. So if anyone else have any viewer questions, feel free to send them through and I'm happy to answer your questions. So today's question is about marketing off-the-plan apartments. So before I start, I probably should explain to you what off-the-plan apartments are, in case you don't know. So basically that means that they're apartments that you see advertised. You might be driving past and there's a big block of land and they're selling off 50 apartments or 100 apartments or 200 apartments, whatever happens to be. Thanks for the like, I appreciate that. And if anyone else likes what I say, feel free to click on the like. If you don't like what I say, then click on the like anyway, that'd be really cool. So off-the-plan apartments. So they're things that haven't been built yet and you're buying it before it's been built. And you imagine how long it takes to build an apartment complex. It takes ages, 1 or 2 years or more. So you're putting your money down for the really long term. So like I said, generally it's about a 10% deposit you put down up front and then you pay for the rest when the house has been finished. So you're locking away, let's imagine the apartment's worth 400,000, say, then you're putting down $40,000, or it's a million, it might be $100,000. So it can be pretty crazy expensive. So I suppose you got to think of a few different reasons. When I'm marketing anything, I'm basically thinking about, okay, who would like to buy this, whatever I'm happening to sell, type of property. And you think about what the things they like about the property, but you also think about their reservations about buying the property. And what you're trying to do is obviously highlight the things they like about it, but the things they don't like about it, just don't ignore it, because they're gonna know the things they don't like about it, and they're gonna be quite aware. And at the end of the day, nowadays, everyone can just get on the internet and Google whatever they want to know about, and it's going to point out all the good things and bad things about everything. So there's no point trying to avoid it. So if you know people are going to have things that they don't like about a particular property, then you might as well confront it head on and have a solution. Explain why that's not really a big deal in this case. So example-wise, who would like to buy an apartment? There's a couple of types of people. It's either going to be someone that's going to live in it or someone's going to invest in it. So traditionally, apartments are more geared towards for investors. In that case, it's going to be your more average price apartments that aren't as expensive, so you can get a better rental return, so it looks better on numbers. If you're $1 million, $2 million apartments, they're going to be more geared towards someone's going to buy it to live in it, really. So you're going to have a totally different marketing strategy for someone's going to live in it compared to someone as an investor. So if someone's going to live in it, you're really focused on lifestyle, the convenience of how close it is to everything, the number of car parks, the how nice it is, the views, all those sort of things that people are really looking for when they're looking for an apartment to live in, and why they've decided to buy an apartment. Hey, Chris Gilmore, thanks for not putting me off. I appreciate that. And as far as investors goes, the way they try and things they like about generally apartments, investors are really focused on the numbers and the money, basically. So what you're trying to do is, you're going to work out what it is that they would like about the property, and generally it's how do they minimize their tax. And if you want to try and get some tips about the best way to market a property to minimize tax, then probably you can't do any better than looking at what property spruikers do. If you go to any of your property spruiking seminars where they have, they invite you along and they tell you about all the benefits of investing in property and all the negative gearing benefits and all the depreciation benefits and all the tax benefits you get out of it. And then they actually show it back to you as an individual, how much that's going to save you on your tax. And basically it looks like, on paper, it's actually going to save you money. Actually, the money is going to put money in your pocket each week. The reason why apartments look so appealing compared to a house is because depreciation is a big chunk of what's going to save you money on tax. And in an apartment, the value depreciation only applies to the building essentially. So the land, what they say, land appreciates in value and the house is depreciating value. So with an apartment, you get almost no land or a very small amount of land that you partially own, whereas you own so relative-wise, the apartment or the building portion of relative to the land is a lot larger. So the percentage-wise of depreciation benefit is a lot higher than if you bought a big block of land and a big house. Then the land portion is a lot higher, so the depreciation benefits don't look as good. So what I'd be advising you to do if you're marketing an apartment, try and do all that work for people, really. At the end of the day, if you try and run it like a property spruiker. So what they would do is they'd have depreciation schedules already done up so people know exactly how much tax they can claim. Then I give them examples, real world examples based on what their income level would be and how much money they can save on their tax. So do multiple levels. If they're on 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, 150 grand a year, $200,000 a year, and then start to show them the benefit back in their pocket. Because at the end of the day, the investor is not really caring about the property itself necessarily. They're more focused on cash flow or the money that's going in their pocket. obviously, I suppose my trepidation with that as an investment, you really have to focus on something else besides just purely the cash flow thing and how much money you're going to save on tax. You really have to look at whether it's a good investment as far as capital gains go as well. So the value of the property, is it going to go up over time? So that's my bit of a word of caution for people that are buying apartments. Then have a think about it. Okay, great, it's going to save me money on my tax, but what's it going to be doing as far as the value of the property? You got to hope that the difficulty you get with an apartment is you don't actually know what it's going to sell for in the real world. You can obviously see what it sells for by someone selling you before it's been built. But once it's built, the problem you get is you can't walk inside it, you can't have a look at it, you don't really know if people like it or not. And imagine if there's 200 apartments being built and everyone buys it for $400,000, then suddenly the first person to sell their apartment suddenly desperate for cash, or they've gone bankrupt and they need to sell in a hurry, they suddenly sell theirs for $300,000, and that's the very first one that'd be sold once they've all been built. That suddenly sets the market for what the properties will be worth in the future. So I suppose that's leading on to our next thing. What are some of the things that people are worried about when they're buying an apartment, particularly for investment? That's one of the things I would worry about, is how do I know what the value is of the property? At the end of the day, it's just coming from someone picking a number, because no one's actually sold it on the market, I suppose. So you don't really know what it sells for in the real world, because no one can really walk inside and have a look at it. So how are you going to solve that problem? I don't actually know the answer, to be honest. You can put some sort of guarantee that if it doesn't, you're selling it for $400,000. If in 2 years' time, once it's built, it hasn't sold. If you can't get $400,000 for it, we'll put a price guarantee that we'll buy it back off you. That would be quite appealing for me as an investor. Knowing that I get the tax benefits and they're pretty much locked in. You have a rough idea. That's why a lot of property spruikers, I'm using that word in a negative sense, but it's not necessarily negative. They market with a rental guarantee, so they're guaranteeing you the rental you're going to get for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever it happens to be, which is really cool. So that means you know what your rental is going to be, and that's confirming your tax benefits, which is really good. I suppose what I don't really hear too much of is a price guarantee. The price they're selling to you will be worth that price once it's sold. So if you're taking those two issues out of the equation, you're confirming the rental will be for a few years. Hey, Braden, thanks for watching. And you're confirming that the price that they're buying it for is guaranteed. It's a bit of a no-brainer for the people buying it. So other things you can do, obviously, they might care to a small degree, what the fittings and fixtures and all the other sort of stuff is. Obviously, it's a no-brainer, but put really nice plans there. It might be worth your while, doing some computer-generated images so people can have a bit of an idea of what it looks like in the virtual world. You can relatively cheaply, you can get that stuff done nowadays. You can actually get video walkthroughs done now relatively cheaply as well. So if you are going to be selling multiple apartments, even more than two, but especially if it's 50 or 100, do like a video walkthrough when people actually walk through the apartment before it's been built, and do some good quality 3D imaging. The crazy thing is nowadays, hi Lander, thanks for joining. The thing is, technology's improved so much now. You can actually do 3D virtual reality tours where you can put on your little goggles, walk through an apartment before it's even been built, and you can actually look around and check it all out and make sure you really like it. So that's pretty amazing. So that's some of the things that people are going to be concerned about. If they're an investor, they're going to be concerned about the rental return, so that can be solved by the rental guarantee, what the property's worth in the future. That takes a big punt on the property developer, whether they want to do that, but you can try and do some price guarantee. And then the third thing is, let people walk around, have a good look at it. So, do a virtual reality tour where people walk around inside. It's fair enough, it might cost you, thousands of dollars to do that, but if you're doing 50 apartments, then it's not going to work out to be too expensive, really. So for someone that's going to live there, they're purely focused on the lifestyle stuff. So I'd be focusing on the lifestyle type of things. Things they're going to be concerned about, similar sort of things, not so much the rental side of things, but what will it be worth once I've built it? It's going to be worth what I paid for it. And then also other fittings and fixtures and all that sort of stuff going to be the same as what I've been promised. So what I would probably do there, if you have a sample apartment that people can walk inside and actually touch the doorknobs, touch the taps, touch the carpet, look at the paint, all that sort of stuff, that's going to go a long way to trying to alleviate some of their fears. Especially, if you're marketing to someone who wants to live in it, they're going to be paying a lot more than someone as an investor. Generally, when I'm selling properties, I generally want to sell it to a mum and dad that wants to live in it. I don't really want to sell it to an investor. Investors purely focus on the money. Someone's going to live in it, they're more likely to let their emotions take control, and they're more likely to pay more money for it. So if you're selling an apartment, you want to try and appeal to someone who wants to live in it, you've really got to work on that emotion side of things, which is, you know, the lifestyle and how good quality is and how amazing it's going to be for their friends. At the end of the day, everyone does everything because they want to try and impress their friends. So, you know, try and show them how they can impress their friends with their awesome place and the lifestyle and all the other sort of stuff they're going to get from it. So hopefully that made sense to everybody. And yeah, it's slightly different if you're going to be marketing something that's not built yet than if you were marketing a house that's already built. So it's a different strategy to marketing the property. So hopefully it all made sense. If you like what I said, then click on the like button. If you haven't liked what I said, then still click on the like button anyway. If you think someone is thinking about buying an apartment or they're thinking about marketing an apartment and they want some advice on the best way to try and do it, then maybe click on the share button and pass it through to them. And yeah, if you've got any questions for the future, then feel free to click on the comment button and put some comments in there. And if you like what I said, put some comments in there too and just say hi. I'd really appreciate that too. So thanks guys, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.